Quality of life and in-game features, are they any good? And hello, by the way, welcome to this video, which is the first on Thursday. There's probably going to be a couple more. There's going to be a Mole Man review video and maybe another one. I don't really know on my scheduling of stuff at the moment. But yeah, let's have a look at these new features. Now, one of the main features is the resource finder, something which I did kind of like talk about a little while ago. And obviously the reason that I decided to post so many grind guides last week was because this feature was going to be added in and it would be like hours of work that would just be lost. So I just thought, look, it's probably best to post these as soon as possible and really kind of see what happens. But you can see these kind of, well, not trippy, but they're kind of like flashing type things, which is kind of all right. Like down here, like I think it's saying resource available to rank up, flashy, non or kind of like close to non so flashy. So there you can see Captain Marvel movie is non-flashy, but ready to rank up is flashy. So that gives you an idea. And yeah, indications are really there as to like, you know, what resources you got available and also, you know, the catalyst required. If you then go to upgrade, and you'll see this info here, there's something in the bottom right hand corner which is find catalysts. And this is going to be the new feature that is quite good and helpful for new players. Something that Kabam needs to work on is retaining new players, because it just feels like people just either kind of come to the game, go, this is too overly complicated, don't know where to go, maybe don't like watching YouTube videos, maybe as well don't like going to the forums, or maybe don't like asking questions, but would prefer it in-game for something where they said, look, this is where you need to go. Something that a feature you kind of feel that this should have been in a few years ago, and other games have this feature as standard, especially in 2020, last year, and the year before. But it is good to see something like this. And Kabam go far enough to kind of say, look, if you go to these areas, you'll pick up this stuff. So yeah, you go to the Glory Store, you can go to the current event, you can go and buy, obviously, you know, they've got to try and sell their wares. And, you know, in other places they're saying, look, go to the Glory Store, Black ISO Market, all these other things as well, you know, Act 6. So that is good. It's good to find areas that players can go to and give that information to them so they're not completely lost when they go, oh, I'm not quite sure where to go. So yeah, in any kind of way, like the grind guide side of things, I don't think it's going to be a thing for me to post anymore, which is fine. I'll just divert my attention to other types of content in the future. It's going to be very important for new players picking up the game to go, look, I don't know where to go, and Kabam have like sorted it out by giving them the information. One of several new features which are going to be time saving more for new players when it comes to endgame players, Cavalier players, and people that know where to go. This is going to be something they probably won't be too interested in and already know the score, but definitely a very good thing for new players. Next up is the champion index, and something that has brought some kind of irregularities or maybe more surprises, if any, is getting info on the 6 stars at its current, say, attack based on a 565 6 star, which, let's face it, there's some crazy stuff. But there is one thing that's really crazy, and that is that a 6 star Star-Lord may be coming in the future. So I was expecting to go, right, well, is that a placeholder? Are we going to see Scarlet Witch in here as well as a placeholder champion? But Star-Lord's in there for some reason. And as well, like, just to kind of clear it up, you know, if you go down to, I was expecting to see Blade or Stark Spidey. Going down to B, there's no Blade, and there's definitely not Stark Spidey, because that would be there. There's all the Spider-Mans there. It's not there. So Star-Lord, you know, as a 6 star, are we getting it soon? Pretty crazy. I know there's been something on the forums about it, so I'll kind of pick that up for Marvel Contest of Champions news tomorrow. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see this if Kabam are planning to put it in. But you can see this is from a 565 6 star with a 3,927 attack number. So it's like, wow, okay, this is pretty impressive. We all know the like, damage potential from Star-Lord, but obviously with other champions like Aegon that have been like the big combo building champions of the last year or two, this champion here has kind of gone into on the back burner and gone to the back of people's minds, even with some complaints about his his element gun, or like the shock damage and stuff like that, and the way that it scales with the ticks of damage as you build up the combos. It has been largely forgotten by Kabam, and that is something that still rages on. I think we covered that in Marvel Contest of Champions news. Obviously, this will be appealing for those that want to find out how these champions scale, especially at 6 stars, 5 stars, and other things like that. But I think it's the info. When it comes to like finding out about the champions info, I don't think it's really there with signature ability from what I've seen. Yeah, you can't get really an idea from this, but I think from the base level of stuff when it comes to abilities, which I think is important for interactions with champions and just planning in the future, this is something that is going to be really helpful. Now I want to quickly talk about objectives, daily objectives, weekly objectives, but I just want to give a little bit of props to Kabam on this month's multi-expeditions and also the objective that comes with it. So the special objective, which is whack-a-mole. Let's face it, as you grind out and go through the Mole Man expeditions and you defeat Mole Man, you will be able to smash out Whack-a-Mole Man. You know, there's no point doing a guide of it, because basically the more Mole Mans you whack down, the more of these objectives you smash out. So the great thing about this is what you get at the end of it. So it's all about getting those 5-star generic signature stones. And I like a nice signature stone, I'll tell you that. Not to mention the fact that you get the crystal as well. Yes, it's RNG factors into it, but look, you put in your effort and you're able to get some good stuff from this. And as well, 5-star shards. So, you know, that's really good, especially if you're an up-and-coming player and you want to develop and you want to have more 5 stars in your roster to do things like Act 6, get Cavalier, even in a case of doing some more difficult content down the line and getting some real kind of like OP champions, then this is going to be a good opportunity to get this stuff. So Kabam did a good job with this special objective. And the Mole Man expeditions themselves have been great because the resources grind if you are in it, 0 energy spend, as well the resources you get from it, and it scales up over the weeks that you do it. You know, it's going to be really good for your progress, really good for gathering resources and shards. It's like a double whammy. It's kind of like, for me, looking back and reminding me of Negative Zones and a little bit with the Fantastic Four invasions and Doom invasions. Not to a point we'll get the same, I don't think it's on par with the same OP level of take home of rewards, but still it's impressive to see this, especially for March, with several other events still to come into the game. So I think Kabam are doing us a solid for once. And taking into consideration as well objectives for daily and weekly. From a daily perspective, these are fine. They just go about, you just go about your grind as normal, whether you end the fight with a heavy attack, special, whatever the trigger is for getting this smashed out. It's still fine. And as well, like the weekly ones as well, if you do alliance-based participation, you get these particular crystals, which obviously for me is Cavalier objective crystals, but for you it could be anything. Uncollected objective crystals, anybody can have anything. They are RNG triggered, so it's a case you could pick up something good or something bad. I'm going to save a few up and do a bigger opening just to see like what you get from a volume of say 10. And obviously it's just luck based, but I just kind of feel like I don't really want to open up one and get constantly tier 4 class catalyst fragment crystals. I'd rather just hope that we get some 6 stars and 5 stars from it. And there's a good amount on offer from what you get. So that's something of a positive from something that is RNG. And I think I've got one here, so we can just quickly check, which I didn't do last time. So let's just check the drop rates. Oh, you can't check the drop rates. Well, that's just typical, isn't it? But somebody said they had 800 5-star shards, and I think we can drop down. Actually, we drop down and see. Oh, those are the prizes that you get there. But it doesn't say the volume of it. Even if you click the drop rates from this, it does not say. I'm trying to scroll because sometimes you can click on it and you can like scroll it, but you can't. So I'll just take it a good word that you get a good volume of them, not a terrible volume of them. Also going back to something that I talked about in a previous video and also in Dave's video, because there was talk about them Kabam removing the solo events in order to kind of put something in with a daily objective. Now, obviously, that doesn't seem to be a thing at the moment, especially from what I see. And I think for a lot of players, if there is a lost opportunity to not get that revive, not get that health potion, and as well the other little health potion, and as well the unit, then that's going to be a problem for the community, because there are people that do go for it, and especially if you're a free-to-play player, you're going to look for every opportunity to grab that revive, that health potion, the unit. It's not much, but you know, it does add up over time. I think the revives are the thing that is more important to players, especially if you're, like I said, free-to-play, you are incredibly skilled. You know, that is something you want to focus on. So hopefully, if they do change this, alter it in any kind of way, that we indeed get something in a daily thing that does include those things. So maybe a refresh on the milestones and as well like the greater solo crystals, because like they're a little bit kind of like out of touch. It's great for newer players, and if you're able to smash out these events quite regularly with the 22-hour ones, then you can pick up some good stuff. But I just do feel that that needs to be looked at and adjusted a little bit. I think the arena boosts are still quite good to be in here, but you know, you're not really getting anything substantial, especially from an endgame perspective. Are you getting arena boosts that are going to be helpful for 4 stars and 5 stars? No, because it's RNG, and more than likely you're picking up ones that are just 3-star only. So if you do the 3-star arena, that's good, and I think this is very much for up-and-coming players. But when you come to an endgame perspective, nothing really except for the units, the health potion, the lesser health potion, and the revive are the only things that really kind of like mean anything to you. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been a quality of life / overview of objectives / good news about the expeditions, and the weird thing with Starlord being a 6-star type video thing. What are your thoughts on these changes? Do you like these new additions? And obviously, I think Kabam have got planned to do more. And obviously, with quality life improvements, with Marvel Realm of Champions being released this year, is really going to be important, especially from my perspective, because I do want to cover both those games on this channel. On the second channel, we'll cover other Marvel games that may be mobile in nature. So yeah, it's going to be a very busy year, and as well, lots of content to cover, especially from like Act 6, trying to 100% that in a short space of time, and so many other things as well. Have your say in the comment section, hit the like button, and as always, I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.